All right. Well, just after 6:30, thanks everyone for hanging out with us for tonight. So, one of the things that we're excited to do for this upcoming year on Thursdays throughout the course of the year, we're going to be having different topics that we're going to be tackling. Not every Thursday, but our goal is to start with at least one Thursday a month, have some different lifestyle topics that we cover, whether it's nutrition or movement or mindset or whatever it is that can help kind of make things more effective in your life. So, to kick things off for the year, we thought it'd be actually really helpful to think about how 2024 went. You had a whole calendar year under your belt, and we're going to be looking at it through six different lenses, if you will, all kind of centered around this idea of personal health and wellness. And so that's what you'll see on our handout for today. Overall, the structure for tonight is going to be just a lot of time to reflect and think and take some notes down. I think all of us get really busy with the holidays and everything else going on and thinking about this upcoming year that we may not take as much time as we'd like to just kind of sit and notice how things went. So that's our goal for tonight. Take some time, reflect on these different areas. That will help us then springboard into maybe some different goals, if you want to call it that, intentions or thoughts for this upcoming year. And we'll look at that through the lens of if there's something that you'd like to either achieve or something you want to work towards. And we'll highlight that when we get there. But to kick things off, we usually start with our question of the day when we start class. So this is going to be a non-shareable question, but I want you to reflect and you actually write it down on your sheet. If you could summarize last year in 1 to 3 words tops for yourself, how would you categorize or think about last year? So going with the big question of the day to start. And like I said, you don't have to share this. This can just be a personal reflection, but if you come up with something for yourself, find a spot on the sheet of paper, mark it down, how you might use to describe that. It could be one word, could be a phrase, could be a hyphen, whatever that is. I'm just thinking about how this last year went for you, just kind of just overall. It can be funny how sometimes when you're put under the gun like that, and it's like just there's one word or 2 words that come to mind.
Are we writing this somewhere here?
Yeah, just anywhere.
One word?
1, 2, maybe even 3 max. Not going to let you do too many words, but maybe that kind of gives you a frame of reference for how the last year went. Quote for tonight. We saw this in the email, saw this for Monday, but I like this quote from John Dewey. We do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience. We had a whole lot of different things we probably came in contact with over the last year. But if we actually take time to think about how those situations unfolded, the decisions we made, then we can actually do something with it. So, with that, we'll give you some free time now to look at these six different areas of your sort of personal health and wellness. We've got movement, which, if you're coming to the gym, that would be considered movement, but we're just classifying this as any kind of intentional movement for your just overall health and wellness. We got stress in there, which we're categorizing as the ability to take what life throws at you and still feel like you're able to thrive and do as well as you'd like. We got nutrition, which just means you are able to eat in a way that supports the lifestyle and the performance or aesthetic goals you have. We've got sleep, so that's just getting enough sleep that you feel like you're able to function as best as you can each day. We've got mindset, which is how you talk to yourself. Are the thoughts and the conversations you're having in your head supportive, encouraging, and helping you build confidence? And then the last one we've got is time management. And that's going to be, were you able to accomplish tasks, goals, things that you wanted to work on through time management? So rate yourself, scale of 1 to 5. If you like drawing and coloring, you can color in the marks there. What's up, Johnny? So 1 would be like the closest to the center. 5 would be coloring in all the ones out. But 1 would be did not go according to plan, really wasn't able to maximize that area. Where 5 would be this was really solid for me for this year. So take some time to evaluate yourself in these 6 areas or how things went over this year. This is all going to be very personal and individualized. So don't feel like you're going to have to share any of this, but this will just be for your own personal reflection. And if you're someone who likes to add some little notes down or some just sort of thoughts that pop up from that, feel free to fill in some of those spots around the margin, maybe why you put that or how you put that. If you've colored in your circle there and you've got a little visual representation of what the year maybe look like, take some time now, do a little free write. If you need more space than the bottom there, feel free to fill up the paper. But what did you notice or observe just from thinking through and trying to rate yourself? So any reflection is fair game here, but give you some free time, think through, write down just what stood out to you most about just rating yourself in these different areas. And we'll chat a little bit about the observations, not necessarily the scores you might have given yourself. So give you some minutes here, write down, fill up that bottom box, fill in space around if you need it. Some folks might still be writing. Feel free to keep writing. For those of you who maybe had a chance to put some ideas, thoughts down, bottom box, what did we put there for just the observation of maybe just having this opportunity to reflect, put some numbers down to some things? Any thoughts on that? Yeah, Mary.
It made me realize like good stuff that happened in 2024, like things that I actually did accomplish and didn't think of, and then stuff that I realized that I kind of could have done better. So I saw both sides of it. So that's what I was.
Yeah, it's amazing because I think we can be our own worst critic a lot of times where we always notice things that maybe didn't go as well or we didn't accomplish. But it's nice to take some time to be like, oh yeah, I actually did do pretty well with this. So I should give myself a pat on the back for that or keep it going. I like that. Any other reflections or observations from that?
For me, I can tell that my 2024, my priorities shifted
Mm-hmm.
as far as like, I guess where I am in life, what I want to compare to previous years. Because I think what is important or what I prioritize is important or different than what I maybe would have prioritized 5 years ago.
Yeah, 100% agree. Right. So anyone else notice that too? Like even throughout the year, priorities might have shifted a little bit. Like at one time you're like, I was super dialed in with my nutrition and I was really good with like getting to the gym consistently. And then all of a sudden, like something happens in life and you're like, oh, that didn't work out for like 3 weeks, or I didn't eat as well as I'd like to. So yeah, there's ebbs and flows to the seasons that we're in. So yeah. Any other observations? Yeah, Johnny.
So for me, it was stuff that I hadn't thought about.
Mm-hmm.
So, I forgot to sleep and mindset.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, yeah, I'm getting enough sleep. That's important. And mindset is basically talking to yourself, to be positive, and, motivate yourself a little more.
Yeah.
I really don't think about that stuff. That's not.
I think, Snickers did a pretty good job with their commercials of highlighting that if you're not you and you're hungry. So sometimes it just takes a little food and everybody gets a little bit happier. But yeah, sometimes we don't always see what it looks like when sleep or nutrition or these other factors are off. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, maybe that's why I'm tired or irritable or I'm not able to do the things I'd like to do. So start to make and connect some dots there, which I like. Any other observations?
I realized that I ended the year forming better habits than I started the year with.
Nice.
Shout out Chelsea.
Lifestyle coaching, right? So yeah, so we realize like as there's ebbs and flows, we can focus on certain things. And honestly, we try to tackle all of these at once. That can be overwhelming of like, I need to eat well and move well and sleep well and do all these things. Next thing you know, it's like it's too much. So sometimes just one thing at a time. Can I improve this little area? See if I can get that moving in the right direction. And especially when you start to see like, oh, maybe you rated yourself as a 1 or a 2. Like for me, I put time management as very low. I was like, oh yeah, that's probably an area that could use some focus. So it gives us a sense of direction of where we might want to put some energy and time in 2025. Yeah. Any other thoughts or observations from that?
Hard to give yourself 5s.
Yeah, I thought that too. I didn't give myself a 5 for everything. So I'm like, there's always a little room in there. They've actually done a little bit of research on that, where a lot of people, when they get to evaluate themselves a 1 to 5, you never give people 1s or 5s. Everybody's a 2 to 4. So maybe you've seen or experienced that too. But there's always that little bit of room for improvement. One of the things that I like about this is if you're a visual person, kind of gives you this nice graph. If you're a numbers person, gives some metrics to it. But something you can come back to, refer to, and say, hey, have I moved the needle? Does it feel like it's better than maybe it used to be? Or what does that improvement actually look like? So just taking some time to reflect on that can be really helpful. So what I'd like to do is we'll flip the page because it's nice to reflect on where we're at with some things that went well. The way we're phrasing the back side of this page is we do all this fun work in the gym. We talk about nutrition and mindset and sleep and all these things. And it's kind of like, well, what's the point of all of that? Why am I doing all of that? So we're going to look at it through the lens of how do you want to express your fitness in 2025? And I want you to give some time to free write or think about what that can look like for you. So for some people, it could be a very specific thing of like, there's an event I want to do. I want to run a 5K, do a Spartan race, do a competition. Maybe it's you want to achieve a certain movement in the gym of I want to get my first pull up or first double under, whatever it is. Or maybe it's like an aesthetic thing. I want to feel confident in my clothes. And I want to feel confident in when I'm out with my friends or something like that. So look at it through the lens of how do you want to express your fitness in 2025? And that'll help guide us into what do we do with that? How do we work towards that? So take some time, free write, come to mind, little things that come to mind that you'd like to see or be able to experience in 2025.
I'm gonna lay down.
As it relates to your just general and personal health and wellness and fitness.
So just the first box.
Yep, just the first box. So free write. And if it's more than one thing, feel free to put down a couple of things. If there's multiple things you want to achieve towards this year, put them down. Anyone willing to share one of their ways they want to express fitness in 2025? Chris?
So this year I went to take part in
Okay, might have a chance for you to do that here. So I like that. Partner CrossFit competition. Any others out there? Tanya?
I want to have physical appearance. I
Mhm.
feel like that's because I have good food, but I don't look good in it, for example. So, but I want to, and I want to go to Himalayas, to mountains,
Yep.
and not the Everest, no.
Yeah.
Not there.
Not that high.
Like base camp.
Yep.
I watch a lot of people going there.
Mhm.
Every time I look at them, they're very good physically, like, and young,
Yeah.
and I see that I can't do it, but
Mm,
I want.
yeah,
So.
I like that. We'll have to find a mountain for you to climb though.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of options. Plenty of options.
What is I wonder, what is the highest mountain here? In
Probably McKinley, or there's one in Alaska if you go up there. I'm trying to think of what the. Yeah. You could go out to Asheville and find something that would be pretty fun to hike. There's some good stuff out there. Yeah, Grandfather Mountain's a good one.
Grandfather home?
Yeah, I like that. So we got some aesthetic and some performance in there. Norma, you had one?
Run more.
Run more. I like
I
that.
definitely want to achieve 10.
Oh, all right.
I mean, I used to love running.
Yep.
So getting back to it this year.
Yep. Well, and I know on June 7th is Run the Quay. So we'll have a team out there for that. And I know last year Emma did the 10K. So some people can't take part in the 10K or the 5K, but
She did both. Yeah, you can
yeah,
do
that's right.
both.
You can do both. You do 15K. But yeah, so maybe that could be an option. Otherwise, we'll find a 10K, and maybe we'll have to find some kind of run club when it gets nice, a little warmer out there. So, any other goals or things people got?
I wanna look good in my wedding dress.
Woo, woo. I like that one.
Curveball, but you know.
Yeah, yeah, I like that.
For me, I just put just being happy with anyone.
Mhm.
Coming, being happy that I made it.
Yeah. Instead of having expectations or trying to hit something, I like that.
I wanna do more outside the gym than in a gym for like 15 years, just working out. And so this, like, I've just started to explore more options and movement to actually use my fitness and not always worry about am I training
Mhm.
and just use it. And like, I already have a good amount, like, I'm just gonna do something with it and not just worry about gaining more.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, let's just use what we got.
Yeah, it's nice to not do fitness just for the sake of getting better at fitness,
Mhm,
but to
yeah.
like, hey, let's do something with
Yeah.
like hike mountains, run 10Ks, whatever, Spartan races we did here, or just have fun like yoga and stuff like that. That was one I put down as actually was a goal for this year was to golf more, and so I was able to do that, and I want to do that even more this year. But like get outside and walk and do those types of things. So that was one for me that I enjoyed, and I'd want to do more of this upcoming year.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah.
Your hands are.
More? What? Yeah. So great. It's always fun to establish what we'd like to work towards or things we want to achieve. The first step when we start looking at how do we actually achieve it is to look at the why. There's this quote from this philosopher called Nietzsche that I've always loved. It's like he can bear almost any how who has a strong enough why. And I've always thought that was really fascinating. Like you can go through a lot of hard things and do a lot of hard things if you have a really strong why behind it. So that's the next step of this phase of just if you want to climb a mountain, look good in a wedding dress, if you want to run a 10K, whatever, why is it that you actually want to do that? What would maybe you experience from that? Why would that impact your life in a positive way? So take a moment and just reflect on why that's a meaningful goal or a meaningful thing that you'd like to strive towards or work towards. What's up, buddy? We'll see you. Through virtual fashion, missed out on the chat here, but Blair also shared she wants to get better in shoulder stability, some freestand holds, some handstand push-ups. I like that. And finding and looking at new skills to have fun with, which I think is also cool when you learn new skills with fitness. So we won't share the why so much, but keep that in the back of your head because that can be one of those things where it's really easy to put down certain goals, things we want to achieve. And then when it gets tough or time and stress and all these other things impact it, sometimes they get put by the wayside, but it can be nice to come back to that. So the last thing we'll reflect on for tonight is looking at the bottom box. So what will it take to help you achieve that? Whether it's the aesthetic goal, whether it's the performance goal, whether it's exploring new skills, looking better in what you want to wear. What's it going to take to make that happen? And you can look at it from those 6 areas we reflected on the front side. Is it going to take certain movements? Is it going to take nutrition? Is it going to take stress or mindset? Is it going to take all of it? But see if you can start to pinpoint or narrow down what it's going to take to make that happen. And then the last one is obviously, we care a lot about personal health and wellness and fitness, so we want to support any way we can. So, how can greater culture help to make some of those things happen? So, take some time, reflect on those last 2 prompts. Looks like a lot of folks have got some stuff down, so it was cool to hear some of the different goals you have. Start working through the process of why it's important to you, what it's going to take to get there, if there's support that you need. So obviously, a plug here that we exist here to try and help with whatever your health and fitness goals are and want to support you through that. So if some of the things you wrote down, you could use some extra coaching, guidance, assistance with, we would love to help support you through that. So definitely share that with us. Accountability goes a long way as well. Last question I've got is more of just like reflection as we think through just working through this process. What sort of observations, reflections do you have just kind of working through the back side of the page here, thinking through some things that you're excited about to express for your fitness for 2025, or even just the process of why it's important, what it's going to look like, any other support? Any other observations, just kind of working through that process?
I think it's important just to like have a great environment.
Mm.
Being here, it's one of the things that's gonna affect my goals, is the environment. So having the right people coaching, having the not only that, but also having people taking the class, So I feel like that's one of the things that will help me achieve my goals. Obviously, nutrition and rest. Yeah, I just realized like, the environment.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And I know there's all the quotes out there about the people you surround yourself with, you end up becoming like them and things like that. I can't say that enough of, if you're wanting to do things a certain way, make choices outside of the gym with how you eat, how you sleep, it's easier when you've got other people who are supportive of that or encouraging you to do that. So you're not the odd person out of like, why are you eating that way now that we're out at a restaurant, or why are you going to work out, or whatever that might be. So yeah, environment's huge. I like that. Any other observations? I always find it's kind of exciting. Like the reflecting piece, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, depending on how things went. But thinking through the things you want to work towards, I always find that there's some kind of hope and excitement around that. So it's always fun to write that down and be like, this is possible. Can work towards that this year.
I think thinking about the why is important too, because otherwise I feel like goals can just be kind of empty. Like you gotta really, and I'm not great at setting goals, but like making yourself think about why you're setting these goals, I feel like makes them a little more attainable.
Yeah. Spoiler, I was having a conversation with somebody that's coming out in a podcast tomorrow, but he is a CrossFit athlete and he got pretty far. Like he made it just before what's called the CrossFit Games, which is like the biggest event for CrossFitters. And for the beginning of his career, he was like, I was just doing it because I was kind of good at it, but that's kind of what everybody wanted me to do. And it wasn't very fulfilling. You put all this time and energy in, and you're like, what's the point of it? And then he's like, took a couple years off and came back with a new mentality around doing this for fun, for enjoyment. I'm going to see how far I can push myself. He's like, it was just so much more fun to train and do all the things it took to get as far as he could. So it's just interesting when you think about the why behind what drives you, to enjoy the process rather than just only be so focused on the outcome of did it happen or did it not. So something else to consider. Having fun along the way. So yeah, podcast Anthony Davis coming out tomorrow. Check it out. Shameless plug. That's right. So with that, I want to say thank you all for coming out for night one. Some of our different talks we'll have as we move through. Myself and Chelsea and others are going to have different topics that will be more educational and allow you some opportunities to reflect or think about specifics around nutrition or sleep or stress and how we can improve some of those different areas. As always, we're here as a resource to reach out so we can help you with these different goals you've got or things that you want to work towards. And another thing that we're going to be looking at bringing to some Thursday nights are specific movement related sessions. So our friend Chris over here has already said he would love to teach everybody how to deadlift more effectively. So in February, we'll probably have Chris over here to help teach us how to deadlift more effectively. We'll be taking different movements you see in the gym, jump ropes, pull-ups, etc. Have various focused sessions on them, as well as just general mobility classes around how do we improve just our general ability to move and function. So look for those things as we continue out throughout the year. So Thursdays are going to be sort of our lifestyle and movement specialty courses, which we're really looking forward to sharing with all of you. So with that, if you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, needs, reach out. We want to help support, whether it's ideas on nutrition, ideas on movement, specific things you want to help you hit those goals you hit or you establish. And we look forward to crushing 2025 with all of you. So thank you for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow for some barbell fun. A lot of clean and jerks tomorrow. Get ready for it. Not as bad as a bunch of wall balls. What's that? Our goal is to do one lifestyle a month and maybe one movement a month.
Okay.
So potentially 2 each month, and we'll identify what those dates are ahead of time. Yeah.
Same here.
So leave the clipboards. But otherwise, good to see you, Jay, Steven, Blair. Thanks for dialing in. We'll catch you all again soon. No, you keep that. That is yours.
Thanks, Brad.
What's keeping you up, everyone?